Welcome back to the Hiding Through Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror movie franchises. I'm Mark,
I'm Tawan.
I'm Maria.
I'm Kennedy.
and we're watching Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, released on March 22nd, 1985, directed by Danny Steinem, story by Martin Kitzur, and David Cohen. But how is this a Friday the 13th movie with no Jason? Tuan, can you give the people a plot?
Years after Tommy Jarvis, in this movie played by John Shepard, murder hockey mask serial killer Jason Voorhees, he resides in a mental hospital and struggles with the trauma of the experience. When Tommy moves to an isolated halfway house, he has nightmares about Jason's return, and soon one of the patients, Dominic Brassia, is killed. As the body count grows, Tommy begins to question his sanity and wonder if Jason is risen from the dead, but to determine the killer's identity, Tommy will need to survive.
So Friday the 13th, Part 5. Now, was this book? So, whose first time was it seeing this movie?
This was my first time seeing this one.
It was
No.
my first time too.
Before you hit play, were the two of you aware that Jason wasn't in this one?
No.
I wasn't aware, but I will say before watching the movie, I think last week I watched the kill count, so it kind of spoiled it for me. But
Oh no, you watched the kill count afterwards, Tuan, not before. He tells you that.
You're supposed to watch it before.
After, not before.
yeah, I know, but like I wasn't expecting much from the movie anyway, to be honest, especially after the last two. So I was like, it probably won't hurt.
Nah, this one was definitely different. But what did you think, Maria? Like when you realized, like,
Oh shit, Jason isn't in this one. Jason's actually dead.
Well, to be honest, from you guys, because you guys kept giving off little hints, so I kind of already assumed it was something like that. I didn't know who it was though. I was trying to stop myself from getting spoiled that way. Honestly, I mean, it was. I guess it just didn't matter that it wasn't Jason. You know, people were still dying. you know.
and you know what's crazy? Like
Everything that Jason does going forward, they all take it from this particular movie.
like the slow walking, the
Deep breaths, that all is like used for the rest of the Jason movies, and it all comes from Roy.
To be honest, I had no idea who Roy was until they were like,
I
they were like,
swear.
it's that guy. And I was like, who the fuck is that?
I swear I thought the same thing. I was like, who? Like, when I got to the end, like, I'm not going to, because I was watching it while I was working, which I do that sometimes. I just watch stuff while I'm working. I'm still didn't pay attention, but, like, Rory was so, like, insignificant at the beginning of the movie. When I got to the end, I was like, who the fuck is Rory? I literally had to look back, and I was like, wait, that guy?
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, who the fuck? For a second, I thought it was the Matt, but then I was like, no, but he's dead. Like, I'm sure he's dead. And then I was like,
Yeah.
who the hell? Until like the sheriff was like, oh, it's the paramedic and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh,
I knew
okay.
I knew it wasn't Tommy, despite the fact that we lose Tommy for like
a good chunk of the movie.
Tommy's like fucking gone for like 20 minutes or so. I was like, yeah, it's not him. That's too obvious.
No, yeah. I knew it wasn't Tommy. One, because of the physical appearance of Jason just didn't look like Tommy. And you know, like the body just didn't look like Tommy. No way it wasn't Tommy. But they were just trying too hard for it to be Tommy, you know? Like they were
Yeah.
trying kind of yeah, like they were like, oh, maybe it is Tommy. It's Tommy. But then I was like, is it though?
But for all three
Yeah.
of you, though,
You do know that Grandpa
was supposed to be one of the suspects.
suspects.
Grandpa,
Really?
what?
they yes, Grandpa.
Grandpa's supposed to be one of the suspects who could possibly be Jason.
Man, what has all that
How?
to do?
Technically, everyone was a suspect except for
See.
the female
It's
characters.
crazy because I got that, I got the vibe that we were going back to the who done it type of thing, but in my mind, I didn't really feel like any of them would have been a suspect. Anybody that was we spent more time with was a suspect, and I was hoping that it wasn't gonna be Tommy because they were insinuating a lot, and I was really hoping they just weren't going the easy route and they were just gonna have it be Tommy, and I thought they were gonna have him um I thought they were gonna have him since he was doing the stuff with the mask. I thought maybe he made a Jason mask or something and was gonna be wearing it the whole time. But I'm just
Yeah,
glad he
like I
didn't
mean,
go that route.
like I can see the way they made it seem like it was possibly other characters. No, and yeah, like you're right. Until you spent more time with them, you can tell okay, it's not this person, and then they die, and you're like, yeah, it's definitely not this person at all. Um, and to be honest, for a second, I thought it was Pam. I was like, Pam, I don't
Thought
know,
it was
something she did
Pam.
that I was like,
You thought it was Pam of all the
for
people.
a second.
That was 1 second too long. I
I
can't
believe you
believe
thought it was Pam.
I forgot
Yeah, I
what
never
she did. I
thought.
was like, and to be honest, I feel like it would have been cool to have a female Jason. I'm sorry. To have some lady killer behind the mask. That would have been pretty cool. Um I thought it was Matt for a second too. I feel like that's pretty cool. The fact that he had this little farm going on and the whole time was because he wanted to kill all these teens.
Yeah, I can't I in my head I kind of thought something like that, because he was a doctor. What if he was gonna use this for fame or whatever? Since he was a doctor, studying mental health and stuff, and then all of a sudden these kids start dying. I don't know, people movies have done stuff like that where people who are in certain fields try to make stuff happen so that they can get notoriety off of it.
Yeah. And that's why I thought that maybe it was him because he was kind of letting these kids do whatever the fuck they want, he was in the beginning, he told Tommy, he was like, you're your own boss, you do whatever you want to do. And then, so, it would, obviously they're teenagers, so they're going to go fuck. So I feel like it makes
Yeah.
sense. That's his way of being okay,
I'm
yeah, I'm going to go
Glad you
kill
brought
these
that up.
people.
I'm glad you brought that up because this was a camp for troubled youth, right?
Yes.
Was it
But even
because they basically brought him in handcuffs, didn't they? He was there was the police there and everything.
Tommy's in handcuffs, who had a deadly traumatic experience as a kid, and who's
justifiably fucked up.
you have the guy Vic with the anger issues, and then you have
The kid Joey who was killed.
he's
Annoying, I guess, because he was bounced from home. He doesn't really know how to doesn't pick up on social cues.
Yeah,
He's
he seemed like he
annoying.
was he seemed like he was mentally not
Yeah.
not I don't say all the way there, but he mentally digressed. He hasn't progressed enough, so he has to
Hasn't
end
been
up in
around
one of
enough
those
people.
places.
Yeah. But then you have the two kids who just won't stop having sex.
Are they nymphos? You have that one emo chick. I wasn't quite sure why she was there. Was it because of drugs? I forgot. But I feel like
You can't
I
just say
don't
this
know,
is
but she was getting that shit when she was dancing.
apparently that was
Yeah.
apparently
that was all improv. The actress brought her own
she brought her own music that day,
and
it was all improv, and
she was high apparently.
Huh.
from what
No wonder, because I
Yeah,
was
from
like,
the
she's
kill
killing
count,
it.
I saw that they were doing a lot of drugs on this set.
Practically everyone except for one
Actor was high.
like high as fuck. And then, but like it was just like a blanket school for the troubled teenagers. But it's like you can't have different type of troubled people in the same group. And also, I was watching the kill count, and he made a very good point. Why would you give the one with anger issues an axe? This whole movie started because the annoying kid just wanted someone to talk to, and he annoyed the one with the anger issues, and he hacked him to death. But why
Yeah,
did the
and it was
anger issues
that
Kid
was
have an
so random
axe.
too. Yeah, and it was very random. Like when that happened, like I thought it was like one of those, like, they do them little dream sequences, little fake outs or whatever. I thought it was one of those fake outs where like we thought like we were thinking that he did that, but he didn't actually do it. He thought about it. I'm like, oh no, he actually killed him.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. Like there was a killing right in the beginning and it wasn't even like a Jason killing. It was like just some kid killing another kid because they were annoying. Like that got me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of figured they gave him the axe in hopes that, he like, I guess, takes out his rage that way. I mean, that would make sense. Because he's doing physical labor, and I mean, he was really like cutting up that wood. So I guess it helped a little bit, and then that guy just came over and ruined his flow. So is it really, Vic's fault? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit crazy, but yeah, and for it to lead to where we got at the end of the movie with the reveal and stuff, like there's so much inconsistencies there, and I thought about them while watching the movie, and then of course, like, because I did watch the kill count first, like it came back in my mind, because if Roy was the killer, how would he know that's his son? And then also, like, it mentioned like he had like a very updated picture of him as well. Like, how did he get that picture? If they said, I think was his name Joey, right?
Yeah, I thought he just knew. Like, I thought he, I guess, in a way, was watching over his son,
I
which is still kind
guess.
of fucked up because, like, his son this whole time thought that, like,
but you watch
his
him be
his
You
mom, because
know,
his mom died.
yeah, and you've been watching him and letting him go from home to home, and now he's in this weird campsite place at the Packanack, and
you didn't come claim him at any point.
Yeah, like that got like that got me. I was like, okay, I get maybe he was watching over him in a weird way, but then like, why would you not go get your son? Like, why would you not? Because it's like he's over here pissed or like upset because he saw his son all chopped up, but he never really did anything before that to like to go get his son. I do like how it kind of the whole son theme kind of because it goes back to the
To the original.
beginning with Mrs. Voorhees, with the whole, she saw her son die, so she started killing people. I thought that was pretty cool.
He
It's just like
didn't
he was
kill
also
the
a very shitty
person who
father.
killed his son. Vic is the one who chopped your son up.
You didn't kill Vic.
Vic is in jail.
Vic is gone. But you killed everyone else, but you didn't kill any of the people who actually attacked
Your son.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
But
let's talk about some of those standout moments.
The good, the bad, the ones that were weird, the ones you're kind of just like, that happened.
Kennedy, what are some
standout scenes or moments for you?
I just wanted to say that I like this movie. It's probably one of my favorite ones. I think I mentioned it before in one of the older episodes. I was actually in a bad mood like the entire day, and then I watched it like right before the podcast, and I was like in a good mood again. And Pinehurst in F-13 is one of the better maps, definitely fucking better than the Jarvis map. But some of my favorite moments. Well, that kill where Roy, like uses the belt, ties the guy to the tree with the belt. I thought that was a really fucking cool kill. What else? What else? I really like the Tommy actor, even though he doesn't. I like the Tommy actor, and I like the first scene where it shows Corey Feldman at the beginning, and the two guys digging up the Jason body. I think they did a good job recreating the Jason from the previous film. I don't know if you guys own the NECA Jason figure that has like the worms in his mouth, in his mask and stuff.
I think that
was
the Jason from the original film, from the one before.
It was, except without the hand injury and without the axe to the mask.
I didn't catch that.
That's the only part of Jason that we got in this movie.
Well, that and the
ending scene where he sees Jason at the hospital.
Yeah.
What about you, Maria? What are some
standout scenes or moments for you?
That scene where you first see Tommy fighting and he flips that guy onto that table.
I was like,
you know what I mean?
I was like, Tommy good looking and he can fight? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, who is this? It's Tommy. I don't know, that scene was hot. Because he starts fighting the guy out of nowhere, and I was like, okay. Tommy obviously has issues, and he just picks him up and slams him on the table, and that thing just breaks. And the funniest thing to me is that they just separated them, and they're like, just calm down, and then never really like punished him in any way. I mean, I don't know. I was that scene was hot. It was great. Anyway, the scene. Do you hear my cat?
Yes.
Oh, bad. Let's see. That scene with what's that guy's name? Bill and Lana.
Yep.
Yeah, that scene was weird. It was really weird. Like, I don't understand it. It was like a really weird scene to me. Like, I was like, why is this here? Who are these people?
The director just wanted more
kills and he wanted more nudity. So he added that random diner kill for no fucking reason.
Yeah, like, I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, the girls acting, I don't know. It was a funny scene to me. Like, this movie, yeah, I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know. It was a very confusing scene. But, it just, I don't know. It made the whole movie feel like a parody, to be honest. Like, I did like the movie, but, like, I just can't think of the movie as an actual, like, horror slasher movie, you know? Like, to me, it's a parody and it's funny and I like it. So I thought that scene was great. What other scene? Goddamn. Oh, that scene where, like, I think it's like towards the end when Pam and Reggie are like running from Jason/Roy, and they see like Tommy and they're like calling Tommy for help, and he's just standing there freaked out and not doing anything, as this Jason literally just walks up to him and slashes him. I thought that scene was funny too.
Well, that's that kid. His literal childhood trauma is like standing in front of him again. He's like petrified still.
Like, that happens to people. Like,
the thing that
I know, but I feel like
it's like back in your face, and you thought you murdered him. And here, the thing that
you thought you killed, and is the reason why you're crazy, is standing in front of you again. I would shit myself too.
to be honest, because he seems so like athletic in the movie. They were hyping him up as being such a like fighter, you know. He was beating people up left and right. So I don't know, I kind of assumed they were gonna do the same thing. And then they he just didn't. And I was like, oh, I guess we don't get to see Tommy beat up Jason. That would have been cool. Um and there was a lot of nudity in this one. But I don't know, like I kind of like but it wasn't like unexpected nudity, if that makes any sense. Like, I mean, it's the fifth movie. At this point, I expect some
Supposed
nudity.
to be way more nudity than what we actually saw.
Yeah,
Was
I
there?
saw that.
Yep, because the director
Used
used
Yeah, because
to
I saw
be
that
a
in the guide.
director for the porn industry.
yeah, he made a
Yeah.
couple pornos, and so they like
The sex scene, like the nude scenes we did see, they were either way longer than they were than what we saw, or there were plenty more that had to be cut because of like the ratings board.
I mean, they said that
Sex scene they filmed was
they said that shit was wild,
Damn.
and they had to cut a little bit of that. They said that
shit was
wild, and they even said that like some of them, like during the audition, he was telling some of them to like flash their boobs at him because he wanted like big booby
Oh
women.
Lord.
So when he had the nude scenes, it'd be big boobs. So
That sounds very shady.
that's what happens when you give a porn director your fifth movie in a
big franchise.
Hmm.
But what about you?
Well, I guess that scene in the forest was a lot too.
Yeah, it was. It was, and then all the scenes after they were done, and it was just like different shots of
Her naked, and I'm like,
why.
See, and that's what I don't get. Why are you sitting down in the woods naked? Oh, actually, I do kind of get it. It's just like I don't know, but the fact that this man was he said he was gonna go wash up. Why is he washing up in on like with the river? And on top of that, he was just chilling there. He was just
Yeah,
like
you wash up
throwing
in the
rocks and
river.
just taking his sweet time,
But also, why didn't she go wash up with him? I'm pretty.
right?
I'm pretty sure
you both need to clean off afterwards. Not doing so is definitely how you get a UTI infection. You should definitely
clean all that out. But also, yeah, why
Why are you butt ass naked in the middle of the woods? Like, girl, a snake can crawl up in there. You can get attacked by a bear or something. Like, I would not be naked in the woods.
And then that drifter that was just watching them, he was like watching them for way too long, and I was like, what the like, all right, I guess.
But what about you, Tuan? What are some standout scenes for you? Oh, damn. We lost Tuan. Damn. I don't know what to say. Oh, Tuan? Are you back? Damn, do I want to keep going? Should I wait? So, Tuan, what are some standout scenes or moments for you?
Standout scenes or moments. I will say I did like the scene in the beginning with the young Tommy Jarvis. seeing like Jason get like dug up and stuff. Just shows that now that we have a character that's continuous with the franchise for a bit now, like he'd obviously have like trauma from that whole thing, especially having to kill someone that was attacking his sister and everything. So seeing how he was, dealing with that and the situation that he's in now with being in and out of mental institutions and stuff like that, just interesting to see like where his mind is through all of this. So, I thought that was a, decent little scene. Um, but I can't really think. I say much of like that kind of like stood out in this one. I guess because like they had a lot of boobs, but no, there was like no gore or like the kills weren't really doing much of anything in this one, and um, they were really tame compared to the other movies. Um, like scene with the one scene with the couple that was in the woods or whatever, when the girl got killed, like I thought that was
So,
like the little
Kennedy, what
prosthetics that they
are
had on her face that looked like pretty decent.
some memorable
But
character
aside from that,
moments?
like there weren't many standouts for me in this one
Uh, well, one of the
as
more
far as like
iconic
scenes
scenes
go.
is when the AJ looking girl, whatever her name is, when she's dancing to His Eyes. That's a good song. You know the one I'm talking about with the dancing scene? There's a man with no life in his eyes, you know?
Yep.
Uh, that's one of the more iconic scenes for sure. Um, what else? What else? You know the kill that I thought was pretty, like, I don't know why, like it's not like the most gory death, but like a kill that I thought like, ooh, that must have hurt, was the ambulance guy that we see at the beginning, and he's waiting for that chick outside the diner, and then Rory just takes the axe, hits him on the head with it. I was like, ooh, that must have.
Go ahead.
All good.
Yep. I was gonna say, yeah, he hit that guy
Right,
right in the bald spot. That was bad.
right in the ball. And I was like, oh, that must have fucking hurt. A simple kill, but I thought it looked painful. I thought I thought Pam was low key kind of cute.
She looked,
And I liked her as a
she looked
final girl.
old. She looked like she was like. Every time Maria says
Well,
that, I
still,
was like, she looked
Thank you for
old as
bringing that
fuck.
up because
She
yes,
looked
she
like
looked old.
she looked like she was.
she's
She
not
looked
that
like she
old
was
though.
45. She looked old.
Not 40. I mean, she's still doing conventions right now, so she can't be that
No, she
old.
just looks old.
Uh, but let's see. Did, what are your thoughts on that? The crazy, that crazy lady. Like, did you honestly think that that girl was gonna be the fucking Jason? Like, I know that they made her out to be
No.
like a fucking annoying ass bitch, but
What crazy lady? The hillbilly lady? I
yeah,
thought she was funny.
you thought she was
She was
funny.
funny. She was funny.
I loved her. I was like, okay, I loved her. Her
I don't
son
think
was
so that
her
much.
her son was an idiot, but I found her funny, and I was like, okay, I probably my favorite character of the movie. I was like, she's funny.
She's your favorite character of the
Yes.
movie,
Yeah.
bruh.
Nah, she was funny though. But like when she was making her little stew or whatever, I'm wondering why that pot was so big because it's only
I
two of
mean,
y'all,
did you
lady.
see him? There's a reason why it's big. Like he was eating every fucking
Yeah,
thing in there.
You right. He was eating the fuck out
He
that
makes the
slop because that
best
shit did
stew,
look like
Tom.
slop.
You can't deny that.
she was putting everything in there. Anything that was in that kitchen, she was grabbing it
I'm
and
not
putting it
gonna
in that
lie.
pot.
I'm not gonna lie. When I'm noticing that certain ingredients are about to go bad, I'll make a big pot of soup and I'll just start like the carrot go in, this goes in, that goes in. So I kind of get it. Like my shit don't look like that, but overall, but I thought she was pretty funny. I would have enjoyed more of her. Well, what about you, Twan? What are some standout character moments?
Standout character moments. I'm not gonna lie. I did like. I'm trying to remember his name. 1 second. Uh, Wait, was his name Demon or
Demon.
Demon? It was Demon. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie. Well, he like even though it was it was weird seeing him in this movie because I just remember that man from Joanna Man. When I did see him and when I did see him in here, I was like, "Oh, that's Joanna Man." But he was funny though. I'm not even gonna lie, he was funny in the little scenes that he was in, and I just thought he was like, he was just like pretty funny and stuff. And I did like his death scene as well. Like it wasn't nothing special, but like being like trapped in a room and just having like somebody poke through, try to find you to because you're eventually gonna get hit. So like I thought he was funny, and also his death scene was like pretty decent as well. Um, and other character moments I liked probably would have to be Reggie when he pulled up with that. It wasn't a tractor, but it was whatever machine he was driving when
And
he
he
like pulled up and
ran Roy,
crashed into
ran
our
his ass
Jason with
over.
it. Yeah, he crashed into it. I was like, okay, because honestly, I thought Reggie left her. And I'm not gonna lie, I would have did the same because I would have started running and just been gone.
Reggie,
But the fact that he came back and
Reggie
like with
wasn't
a
one of
little
my favorites, but when I was like, okay, I fuck with Reggie is when he's at the car with Pam, and then they see the dead body, and then they see Jason, and she's standing right there. Reggie's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here." He took off. I was like, "Yes, Reggie, don't be dumb
no
like
for
her.
real.
Why is she staring at the man? Just like run."
Yeah, she was slipping and stuff. Like Reggie was like, "No, I'm out," and then immediately went and got his weapon of choice, which was a whole tractor. So that was a good character moment. And honestly, I think that was about it. I wish I could give like Tommy a character moment, but like Tommy, honestly, for him to be our quote unquote main character, he was
He
just
also
there. He
disappeared
was
for like
really
a good
just
chunk
there.
of the movie.
Yeah, which is like it sucks because like they're trying to make you believe that he is the killer by having him like disappear and stuff, and it's like, but by having him disappear, he's also not giving us anything. And then when you found out it wasn't even him as the killer, which one I am glad he wasn't the killer, but when you do find it out at the end that it wasn't him, it's like okay, so he was just gone. He didn't really give us anything else to the plot, even though he's supposed to be our lead here. So, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Maria, did you go?
No, I don't think I went.
Well, Maria, what's some standout
Moments for you. Standout character moments for you.
Well, I mean, I agree with what Tawan said about Tommy. Like, he was kind of just there. Like, he was just background, I guess. Like, he was more like of a background. He like brought the Jason background basically to the plot. You know, like it would have been fine if it was just some guy killing people. That would have
Hmm.
been cool. But I'm sorry, but Tommy was hot. Like, I enjoyed every minute of him being on screen. um,
I was not
he,
seeing it for him, but he
I
did have a nice
agree.
body.
I agree,
right?
Maria.
I
It was
was
doing it for me.
like, maybe that's why I like the movie. I don't know. And then Vic, Vic was hot too. He was. I don't really like my men aggressive. But I was like, you know, I see you. But you know, I agree with what Tawan said about Tommy. He was just kind of there, especially yeah, because he was supposed to be like the main person, and like they made him so I don't know, like he didn't, and plus he didn't really do anything like with the whole like Jason, you know, like towards the end when they were like basically, you know, fighting Jason off. It was mostly like Reggie and Pam. Um, Tommy was just kind of like he just, you know, managed to survive, and you know, and then the ending happened. Which, by the way, how the fuck, how in the world did he get that mask? Is what I want to know. How he literally just went to the drawer, opened it, and next thing you know, there's a mask, and it's like, where did you get this mask from? Who brought this mask here? After all that happened, I don't know. Whatever. I just thought Tommy was hot. I think that was like the main thing that attracted me to Tommy. Um, the sheriff was also kind of the sheriff was like a weird character to me too. He was like, I mean, yeah, he was barely there, but the time he was there, it was like he was reading off really corny lines, you know, like he was so like cheesy with the things he was saying. Um,
We randomly saw the mayor.
yeah, and I was like, and then what he says to the mayor,
Well, I did not think that was the mayor. I did not think that was the mayor. I thought that was like a father of somebody who died, and then they was like, "Oh, that's the mayor." I'm like, "Oh,
right?
okay. Where you been this whole
Um,
time?"
yeah, but also the scene with Demon and his girlfriend. I just I don't understand. Like,
Why
You don't understand why she's singing to him to help him
no,
poop?
why was she shaking that thing in the first place? Like, why did she leave this man alone?
think she was trying to
She
like
did it for
soothe him?
so
Those
long.
damn
I don't know. She did it
enchiladas.
for so long. Like, I understand if you do it a little bit, and he was like, "What the fuck?" But she kept going, and I was like, "Leave this man alone to poop, please." Um, I don't know, but they were like their scene was really funny. They were really funny. Um, I guess Reggie didn't really stand out to me.
I mean, he can scream
Screamed a lot.
as you should. If someone was trying to,
No, that one scream he did when they either first saw Jason or
yeah,
when they were outside. That's how I need people to be
No,
screaming in movies when they see
right?
the killer.
He hit that shit.
no, like the scene when he like brought out that, you know, when that dig thing, whatever the fuck that was, he like brought it out, and I was like, oh my god, who the fuck is that? And you see it to Reggie, which is like, you know, I mean, he chose a great weapon. He didn't decide to go get some axe, some bat, or some piece of wood. He was like, let me bring this machine to this fight. Like, yes, that's, you
Hmm.
know, that's the way you're supposed to do it. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, Pam didn't stand out for me either. She was just kind of also just kind of there. Like nobody really stood out to me. Really, I guess. I guess well, um that hillbilly was funny though. Like I agree about that too. Like she was their scenes were funny. The scene where like what was his name? Junior after he gets, you know, beat up by Tommy and he's like running back to his mom and he's just screaming the whole way. I don't
Hmm.
know, that scene was funny to me. Because he's just like, Mom, you're gonna kill him, right? Mom. And she's just over here with her stew, you know, having a fun time. That scene was funny to me.
I like them a lot, but I want to talk about Tommy.
A little more.
What did you guys think of 17-year-old Tommy
Versus when we saw him last and he was a kid with his mom and sister. Also, I want to address the fact that they don't address or mention the sister. Like, where the hell is his sister?
So,
Yeah.
Tuan, what did you think about Tommy versus the other Tommy?
Yeah, in this one, they were doing like I get what they were doing by making Tommy the way he is because he seemed like he was on guard 24/7, like very much not trying to like interact with people, stuff like that, which I get for his character just because of what he's been through. So like that makes a lot of sense, but also like he didn't have like any interactions with any of the people that he was staying with or anything like that. Like they didn't give him like anything to try to like open up to anyone about anything that happened with him. Like I don't know, they could have showed him have like a therapy session with the doctor or something, just a little something more to like give him something to do instead of just like being like a big ass red herring the entire movie, for him to be the killer and stuff. And I feel like that was like a missed opportunity. But with like everything else that you hear about this movie and what the set was like it's no surprise that they didn't even get that far because they was just doing drugs and fucking on the set the whole time. So like I see why they never got to that point, and it's kind of lost because the actor he seemed like he was good, like from what he was like trying to portray as like someone who's like been through trauma and had stuff like that, but it didn't really give anything to the character of Tommy himself because they didn't give Tommy's character anything to really work with. Like even at the end, like Pam and Reggie did everything. He didn't really do anything even then at the end. So he was just like he was just kind of there. I know he helped like to kill Jason, but um they probably would have got him loose from Pam probably would have got him loose from Reggie. They probably would have got that done themselves if he wasn't there, maybe. But yeah, I just wish they had given Tommy more to do here because it seemed like the actor was doing what he could with what he was given, but he wasn't given much, so it made his character seem pretty boring in this movie. I just feel like if he had more interactions or something, um, we could have got a little more out of it.
What about you, Maria?
I mean, yeah, I agree with what Tuan said. He was kind of just there, and he was just kind of like, I mean, the only thing Tommy has going for him is that he was hot. I'm sorry, like he, and that he was out here fighting people, and he looked hot doing it. And he was ripped, like. But that's it. Like he wasn't really. I think it was mostly Pam and Reggie who were fighting off Jason. He came in the beginning, he was very like traumatized and he was just very quiet and very silent. And you just don't really see that develop. Like, like in the movie, you kind of just see him still being very quiet, being very like standoffish. Um, and it wasn't until the end when he sees Jason and he has his little breakdown, and then he becomes basically Jason again. um but that's the most character development that you see compared to the last movie, which I guess it makes sense because the last movie he basically did the same thing. He was very, granted he was 12 years old, but he literally went from like a kid who loves making masks, which by the way I can't believe they let him continue making those masks. Like they look crazy. Anyway, that's not the point. But he went from this kid who wanted to protect his family, and he wanted to help his mom, his sister, and then he just brutally kills Jason. Which also I don't understand why they kept him in jail for so long. I don't know if he was in jail, but he was somewhere, and they kept him there for so long. If he didn't really, if he killed Jason in self defense, um, or maybe he just couldn't fit in society. I don't know, but I just feel like there's still in a way developing Tommy's character into whatever's gonna happen next movie. Um, like he just doesn't really stand out. Like if he was just a regular character without having such like ties to Jason, I would have definitely just been like, oh, it's some random guy, you know? Yeah, he was okay.
He was attractive. But what about you,
Andy, what do you think about this Tommy?
Did it cut off or something?
Nope, we're just waiting for you. I was asking.
And what do you think about this Tommy compared to the other one?
Oh, what did I think about this Tommy? Um, I mean, I never doubted that Tommy was not the Jason, but I, I still appreciate the premise. I still appreciate the attempt. You know, he had this trauma when he was a child. That you know, the trauma facing Jason and seeing all the cancelers get killed, and that bothering him. Even you know, one of the first scenes when when Tommy first arrives to the therapy center, I guess if you want to call it that, the doctor is like, "Oh man, this guy, like, I'm surprised they haven't fried his brain yet because of all the medication that he's been taking." So you know he's pretty fucked up in the head, and I do think that they represented that well. You know, again, he's like always on edge, like Maria mentioned when he fucking body slammed that one guy through the table like a straight up wrestling move, or when he beat up the hillbilly, the big the son. So he's always on edge on this during this movie, and when he finally sees Jason in the barn, um, and like he freezes when he sees him. I don't know. I don't know what that symbolizes. Like, because he just stands there, like knowing he's about to get stabbed, which he does. But
he was stuck with fear. The thing that he keeps
Having
mental visions of, and the thing that's
haunting his nightmares that he thought that he killed as a kid is
staying in front of him
alive.
he's petrified. It happened.
you know, but overall, hmm, do I like him more than Corey Feldman? That's hard to say.
Nah.
It's hard to call
Nah, Corey Feldman was
Adorable.
because I know, because I'm sure you've done more research on this. Wasn't Corey Feldman originally supposed to be in this one too,
This was
or was
supposed
he
to
just too
be.
young to play a?
He wanted to
Be in this one. It was originally written that he was going to be. It was going to be the same type of story, just with a younger
Corey, but
Corey Feldman as Tommy, slightly tweaked because you know.
he couldn't have been a suspect.
Because of his
Yeah,
age.
but he was contract. He had already
He signed up for the Goonies.
and the Goonies
Was already filming
and plus he had like another movie he was also doing. So he was booked
and busy. So
they were that scene they did
get with him. They filmed that in his backyard.
in like 3 hours.
In one
Yeah.
day, right? Yeah, I think I remember watching the like a behind the scenes or something, a documentary. Um, but like Tawan said earlier, that I like that they continued the character, because usually with these slash movies, they all just die, they all get killed by the slasher, and then we move on to a whole new cast. But in this one, they actually tried to expand, create a little bit of lore in this movie. Um, I thought the character of Tommy was fine. His portrayal was fine. But I mean, if they could have, I know it was written for Tommy to just be an asshole and be, on edge because of his trauma and his medication, but it would have probably been nice to, I don't know, if he wasn't so hardcore like that. Maybe if he did try to talk with the other teenagers and stuff, could have done for a little bit more fun, for a more fun movie, but that's besides the point. Those are my thoughts.
Maria, what are your thoughts on Roy? This movie's Jason. Were you disappointed it wasn't Jason?
No, to be honest, I kind of did like the idea that, this movie's Jason was, in a way, the first movie's Jason. It was a parent who was taking revenge for their kid. I mean, when I first saw the reveal, I had no idea who Roy was. Like, I saw his face, and I was like, who is that? I don't know who that is. For a second, I thought it was just some random guy. Until they started explaining, why, like his motive, why he was doing it, his connection with Joey, and I was like, okay, I see that. That's pretty cool. And then, like, when you think back on it, you do realize that, during the scene when Joey is like, when they're like picking him up and like he's acting all weird. Not to mention, like, I cannot believe he didn't kill that one EMT guy who called everybody pussies because of like because of crying because of a mutilated body. Like, I was like, who the fuck? Surprised he didn't kill him because I don't know. But I mean, I would not have figured out it was him, but I was also not disappointed that it was him. I thought like the motive was pretty cool. It kind of brought it back to the beginning, and I thought it was good. Like, I really thought it was good. Like, I was like, okay, I see that. I see how all that happened. Though Roe is a shitty father. I mean, he really let his son Joey go from home to home and not ever try to, to get him, to get custody, to do something. I mean, he was a paramedic. He could have done something, but I guess not. Whatever. I guess leaving him in a home full of other unstable teenagers and him dying from that result is for some reason all the teenagers' fault. But whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, Roy was I can see why he was Jason, and I don't really have any like negative feelings about it.
Candy, what about you? What are your thoughts on Roy versus Jason?
I like uh I like the idea that they had an imposter Jason. Um an imposter killer. And I actually didn't know what you said earlier, that a lot of Jason's behaviors in future movies were inspired by the Rory character, which is interesting. Um, but not necessarily that I liked Rory the character, but I like that there was an imposter Jason. I know a lot of people were like, "Well, Jason is Friday the 13th. That's why this movie is horrible because there's no Jason." But I'm totally fine with that. But you know, I'm most annoyed with Rory being the Jason because, and I'm sure that I mentioned this in like a previous episode. Um, but I didn't like how you see him for one scene, and then it's like at the end that's revealed that, oh yeah, it's that one guy that had 1 second of screen time that was the killer all along. I think like the best like who done it mystery, uh movies are when like you have a character, a genuine character, like in the Scream movies, right? Like where you really get to spend time with everybody, and then it's revealed that it's that one person. You're like, oh shit! Like I didn't expect that. Maybe I had my thoughts, but but like I think this was like a cheap way of a cheap way of showing who was the Jason, because again, he only had 1 second of screen time, so nobody was gonna guess that it was gonna be him. Of course, you spoiled it the first time we watched it together. You spoiled who the Jason was.
I thought you should be.
I
I
thought you should
remember.
be prepared so the letdown wouldn't hit.
I remember. We watched it the first time at my house, and you were like, when the paramedics were on the scene after Roy's son died, and you were like, pay attention to that character right there. Pay attention to that character. I'm like, what? Why? No wonder. Uh,
I mean, because you only see
but
him twice in the entire movie, and then it's like, oh, that guy's Jason. It's blink if you miss it.
And also, that's not even the same actor in the Jason reveal, so you could definitely miss it.
oh, it's not even the same actor. Actor, like he like did the
The
Roy didn't actually put on the
he
mask.
did. The
Actor that plays Jason in the actor that plays Jason in the first shot with Corey Feldman, and the actor who falls off the balcony and the mask comes off, that's a different actor from who plays Roy in the rest of the movie.
Oh my
Those 2 days,
god.
so
Oh my god. Actually didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like the part that just annoys me the most. If I think it would have paid off more. I think everyone was saying here if it was like the main doctor guy that was the killer. I think that would have been it would have the payoff would have been so much greater. I think it would have made for a much more interesting movie. And a movie that's all about kind of like Tommy's mental wellness, and we're like in this therapy center, and it's the fucking doctor of all people that's like the craziest guy here. I think that would have made for a better twist. But other than that, like I like that they had an imposter Jason. I just didn't like Rory's reveal. I didn't like how he was that one character that had 1 second of screen time. Meanwhile, everybody else, we made sure everybody had like a scene, just kind of making you suspect that they were Jason. But then the Rory guy never had that kind of scene, you know. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
What about you? Thoughts on Roy / Jason?
Yeah, this was like I do like the callback to it, in a sense, calling to the first movie. A parent lost their child and they're quote unquote getting revenge. But like in this sense, like Roy was just killing people. Like he was just killing anybody, which is the weird part. Like I could see if some situation happened, kind of like Mrs. Voorhees, where either it was due to like a lack of Overwatch or something like that, which, and I guess in a sense it was because if these kids are supposed to be, um, under watch and like they're trouble teens and stuff, I probably wouldn't let them handle certain like tools and stuff like an axe in this instance. So I will say it was like a decent little callback to that like kind of thing, but also Rory was like pretty insignificant as a character to like even guess that if he would have been a part of the who done it. Like if that's where we are, like I don't like if that's like where we are with trying to suggest like that's the killer. Like I don't know. I guess I could have suggested like the deputy from the freaking one of the deputies from like the police station or something. Like I don't know. Like at this point, like anybody could have just been picked out as like the killer. So it it was a bit of a letdown to have that be our killer at the end because I could I see if it's honestly, even though I didn't want Tommy to be the Jason in this movie, it fits more for Tommy to be the Jason for this movie because Jason really was just like
You know
killing
what
like
would have worked
anybody really, so it
better?
really didn't matter. Any
You know how we had, the
what's
character,
the Rob from the last movie
and it makes no sense because his sister was
killed 2 days before he got there?
What if we had that character in
This
hmm
movie who was posing as a camp counselor.
or like one of the helpers because he knew Tommy was about to get transferred there, and he's upset that
His sister was killed by Jason, but Tommy but Tommy is one of Jason's survivors, so he's so mad that someone survived that wasn't his sister. He goes and starts killing people and doing it as Jason to trigger Tommy, but also to frame Tommy as being crazy and killing people as Jason.
They was doing too much coke. They couldn't even get that far.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
Man, because it could have been something like, but I like it's like I said, I wouldn't have wanted it to be Tommy, but like it fits so much more for it to just be Tommy, especially he's been through so much that he's just kind of taken on the persona of Jason at this point. And I really did think like um if it was him, like he probably would have had a mask of what Jason looked like since he made those masks and stuff, and he would have like had it on while he was doing the killings and everything, embodying that, like becoming what he used to fight. But fortunately, it ended up being this guy. It was it. I don't want to say it was random, but it also was random because we see why he did it, but the way it came together didn't fit as well as Pamela Voorhees killing camp
Yeah, I felt like they
counselors
didn't
who
really
weren't
set
watching
that
her
up
son.
well. Like you can see he was being weird in the beginning, but I thought maybe they were just trying to,
Hmm.
say maybe it's this guy being all weird. Because like I mean, the last movie had a bunch of creeps. I thought he was another creep when I first saw it, but then when it came together, I was like, I thought the concept behind it was pretty cool. Because in the beginning you have Pamela killing people for her son, and here you have Roy killing for his son, and I liked it, but I guess because like in the first movie you kind of don't see her, like you would not have guessed that she was the killer. So the fact that this time around was kind of the same thing didn't really bother me. You know what I mean? Because they kind of already did that. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like at this point I wasn't surprised. Like I don't want to say I had low expectations, but I kind of had low expectations.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Juan, do you cash or pass Friday 13th Part 5, the new
Beginning.
So I did, I did like the movie. I'm not even gonna lie, I did like the movie just because I felt like I don't know, it was more, even though there was still like the sex and stuff in here, it still felt more chill in those moments where we were just hanging with the like the staff or the people at the halfway house. So I like those moments because they felt like character moments, which I feel like this is what the series is missing a bit. If it has some more of that, I probably would have liked the other movies more instead of them just getting together to die. So it felt like it had a little more character moments and stuff. um but the reveal of who our Jason in this movie was underwhelming, and for it, since it is a who done it, that's the best. That's the main part of the who done it. Like the reveal has to be good. Like it's like in Scream, if you figure out, even if you do figure out like who's the killer, and like some movie like that, the reveal and like their reasonings like is the best part to make the movie what it is. And for that, like I didn't really get that here, so I think I'll probably pass on this one.
Maria, what about you? Cash or pass?
I I wouldn't personally go out. I guess okay, I'm gonna pass. But like I just don't see myself grabbing the movie and watching it. But I do see myself watching it if it was streaming somewhere. And the only reason why I would watch this movie again is just to watch Tommy body slam that guy on that table. That was a great scene. Best scene I've ever seen. Best scene in history. And I would only watch the movie again just to watch that. And that's it. I mean, I did like the movie. But to be honest, like, I don't see it as like a thriller or like a horror. It was more of like a parody of the other movies to me, but it worked. It just it really scratched a part of my brain, and I really enjoyed watching it. Like I enjoyed myself watching it. Um, being part of the Friday,
Mm-hmm.
like being part of the Friday the 13th franchise, it's a horrible movie. Like it does not, like, compared to the other movies, it's not like scary, it's not gory, it's just not really there. But like, I don't know, it was funny. It had a lot of like attractive guys in it and attractive girls, and I enjoyed watching it. Like I really did enjoy watching it. But I don't see my, like, I enjoyed watching it for this. But like if I had people over, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, you guys want to watch this movie? It's really good." I wouldn't do that. Um, if I ever want to, like, you know, I feel like but I do see myself in the future, maybe months from now, saying that I randomly just want to watch the movie, and if it's streaming, I'll watch it. If it's not, then I'll probably move on. So I will pass.
Candy, what about you? Would you cash or pass?
Oh, you know me. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna cash. Like I said earlier, I still enjoy this movie. The biggest, the worst part of the movie, though, for me, the biggest letdown is the Jason identity reveal. I'm pretty sure most people, uh, if you didn't get spoiled, if it wasn't spoiled for you when you watched it, like I'm sure that most people, once Jason was finally killed and like you see the face reveal, I'm pretty sure most people were like, "Oh, who the fuck is that?" I don't think anybody remembered who he was until like the second time around. Uh, but overall, I still like the movie. Um, maybe not the most memorable kills though. Now that I think about it, like not like gory kills or anything like that, really. So I guess in that regard, it is a little bit underwhelming if that's something you care about. I know a lot of people care about that. Maybe that's why some people hate this movie, but I still liked it. I still like the whole imposter angle that this movie has, and it created a fun map in Friday the 13th, the game, and even a fun Jason to play as, playing as Rory.
For me, it's a pass. It's a pass the same
Reason
reason
I
I passed
passed
on
on
Halloween
Halloween
3.
3. I watched a Friday the 13th movie to see Jason Voorhees kill people, not someone in Jason Voorhees costume. So it's a no for me.
But thank you all for listening.
Join
Us next week as we review
part 6, Jason Live, which I have to say, for me, it's
up there pretty high. It's definitely in my top
top 3 favorite Friday.
13 movies. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Join us next week. Goodbye, everyone.
The Haddonfield Horrors Podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?